Okay, hello everyone. Um, your parents did not know what you thought they knew. If you were like me, I thought that they knew. I was born into a dysfunctional family, an alcoholic, and a woman who did not know how to love herself. And I became the copycat of both of them for a while. First, this, first, then the other, doesn't matter. And then I was keep kind of going on that route until I started really suffering so much that I just had to understand what's happening. Of course, I've been activated by someone through a romantic relationship, which was the purpose was not that that relationship stays. Basically, the purpose was not that I choose one or the other, after 14 years of living with someone, but to choose myself. And you might be maybe at this point. I don't know. Maybe your whole life is seemingly turning upside down. Somehow you're like, you just realize you're not happy like I used to. Just just came to the conclusion at the time. But my job was not to go into and fall in back into another fucked up bucket of another relationship and start searching another and okay who he is or who this is, or if you're a man you're searching who she is, and then you try to be happy through another, and it's not going to work, because if you came here to really fully discover who you are, and if this is really your soul's mission, and everybody's soul's mission is that in that sense, but not, like we have different classes. First you're going to first grade, you're first in primary school, preschool, and all that stuff. So the soul has different level of consciousness and different experiences, which he or she is collecting all the experiences and evolves through that. But so we're not talking about kindergarten anymore. I'm not teaching in kindergarten, meaning the teaching, I'm sharing what I know at this point. And of course, I'm not stopping. So whatever, if you've seen earlier videos, and they might have been made by what I was channeling down in the last 6 or 7 years, and I was writing down, and sometimes I felt inspired to do certain videos, uh, you know, but I know so much more since then. But there are still those messages that came from my soul, which is my soul essence messages, I call them. Basically, my soul wanted to save me, to let me know that I was walking towards something more, but something had to change in order to recognize something that I need to take different steps. I need to really open my mind to new possibilities. And whatever was good enough for me when I was in my 20s or in my 30s or 40s is not good enough anymore. So, this is the whole spiritual awakening is about. And you're here to recognize that. So, as a child and even in my younger years, I thought that my parents knew. I thought that my parents were conscious people. No, far from it. They are still unconscious. They are still disconnected. And my father passed away, but my mother is still a covert narcissist. And which means, please don't misunderstand me, disconnected people from their own source of knowing, because we are infinite knowing, but they're not connected to themselves. They never really made that connection, and their soul is here to experience something else. Maybe their soul is here to experience hard work. Maybe their soul is here to experience self-sacrifice. And so, and you are not born to be a copy of your parents or in any way, shape, or form. You're not here to believe them whatsoever. Actually, my ex had a policy and said, do the opposite what your parents were telling you to do. But that's also like, okay, because then you're exchanging certain rules for another type of rule, which then locks you into that box of your own dogma. And that is not working either, because you're going to be constantly evolving. So you basically you become rule less. So you have to release all the rules, even the ones that, because your mind is so tricky, she or he is going to come up with all kinds of fucked up rules that you want to make up, but that will also hold you in contempt, right? In like, okay, so don't do that. Lock yourself into another prison, because before you were locked into a prison of a social and family conditioning, and now your mind still attached to a dogmatic living and obligatory living or based on rules, and then you try to make up rules, but rules are never going to give you a free life. Basically, you have to allow yourself to expand and really make it up as you go along, because you are someone who's going to evolve. I mean, if you are, some people don't want to change whatsoever. They are not willing to change. And today, what is it today? It's, I think, the 9th of June, right? And I'm telling you, I felt at night some things, some energy, incoming energies. And I'm telling you, we are being retested again and again in a way. It's like the echoes of the past. And it's kind of like, how it feels like? It feels like you've been through this before, but now you have to make another choice. And you already know it mentally, you already realize it consciously, but now you have to walk your truth. Now you have to really integrate this and live by that knowledge that that recognition, that insight, and what you have discovered. And and basically it's like, okay, so here's another opportunity to make a better choice this time, because we are going to split certain timelines, and we're constantly splitting timelines. Basically, we are actually not even splitting, that's the wrong word. We are actually creating and stepping into and out of different timelines, which creates our highest or lowest destiny, whatever you want to create for yourself. So basically, every choice you make in this now moment creates a better future or a fucked up future. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to experience, whatever, if you create this, it's okay, because then maybe you take a little detour in order to later come back. Spirit has all the time. My soul is never in a rush. It's basically you allow yourself to uh, make detours, which other teachers or people, whatever, call um, mistake. There is no really mistake. There is only an experience which will give you a stronger recognition and a stronger lesson in that sense, not to do it again. So then it's going to be engraved in your brain in that sense, in your soul. In it's basically, it's like you have to experience that. And if you're just like me, because we all go through that, at first we are really in the mental realm, we're analyzing everything and we're recognizing everything, and we have insights by insights by insights, and step by step we're coming closer to our own beingness, which is pure and undistorted. So when you do that, you go through the analyzing phase, you go to this. Sometimes I even had messages that I posted, and because you can read all of my posts, 6-7 years whatever in the past. And anyway, which I was writing about, like, okay, it is really really there for you to become more and more conscious, and really solidify and really be aware of it in every now moment, not slacking, not lacking, but constantly stay self-committed and vigilant, and not of the outside world but your inner world, because this is when you can keep yourself on course on your path. And so basically, our parents did not know. Most of us were not born into conscious family. Especially, I mean, if I look at the 144,000 and all this who has to obtain and basically recognize, actually solidify the frequency of omnipotence within themselves and step into that and stay in it and stay on course, which means be your natural self and not all the pretentious facade, fake humility or okay, like you read an article and then it's like, okay, they say that, oh, maybe I'm a narcissist. No, I used to be one because I was a disconnected person. That is a narcissistic person. That is like not recognizing your own lies, your own fucked up game that you, or your copycat crap that you've been doing with yourself, living your father's life and living your mother's life, or both, and mix the two, or and plus allowing all your surroundings to influence you in all kinds of ways. So once you get rid of that shit, then you can really step into your own self, your natural self. And so basically, you did not come here to, and self-compassion you have to have for yourself, and you did not come here to take care of other people. That is the biggest lie. So naturally, you did not come here to take care of other people. That is the biggest lie. That when you're going to discover that for yourself, holy shit, everything changes. Like your mind had been triggered and conditioned and made believe that you're here for other people, that you have to take care of other people. No, no. That is only true for those whose soul's mission is practicing self-sacrifice. Whatever. So, for example, even if it was true that Jesus was a self-sacrificing person, but I think it's a fucked up lie. But let's say he was. Well, he learned that on the cross that it was not worth it. But he had to experience it. You see, it was one level of consciousness. That is why, and let's presuppose it was true, and that's why he said it. You're going to do bigger things and greater things than I did. Exactly. So this is the whole point, to discover and, not take anything that anybody ever did for the biggest expansion or consider it as the greatest expansion, because there is always more. And you have to go further than what had been presented to you as an absolute truth or a final truth. There is no such thing. What is true for you? That is the only thing you need to know. Not what they're all spewing, not what whatever. So the only thing you need to learn is how to stay in the vicinity of yourself, being true to yourself, to your natural self. But for that, you have to understand all of your conditioned thoughts, thought patterns, where you're coming from, what kind of family you were born into. Not that you blame them, but that you learn out of it, how you were led astray. Basically, you have to go through those experiences in order to recognize that you finally are coming closer and closer to yourself. And that is your fucking true mission in life. Nothing else. Be true to self. Whatever your current level of consciousness truth is, whatever. But that truth will keep changing. Meaning, no absolute truth. Years ago, I was writing about this. No absolute truth. I am truth. I am the road. I am the path. Who said that? Oh, maybe he did? Okay, but nobody understood it, because you know what? They made a fucking idol out of him, and they made a something to follow, but then not one of them understood the freaking words whatsoever what he meant. He meant be yourself, for fuck's sake. But we have so much more of the refined communication and really being able to understand our own mind. I mean, this is like, and really, keep shedding the light of understanding on ourselves. This is what we all want to actually, this is what you crave so much. You crave yourself. You don't never crave another person. You never crave a freaking car. You never crave a freaking this or a bank account. You want to step into your truth, which gives you everything, which gives you safety, because your own consciousness will be the very safety that you crave. Your own consciousness and awareness will be your own protection by staying close to self naturally, not to others. Everybody wants to stay close to others, and they are like codependence, and codependency after codependency, and then keep codepending on other people or on some fucked up teaching or fucked up, I don't know, religion or all that, whatever. And then they don't know why they keep being unhappy. And then okay, but however, they have to go through all of those things, and you had to go through all of those things that you had to go through. I had to go through all of those things that so-called happened, and I have experienced. But it happened for me because you know what? My soul knew exactly before I came down to this earth that all those circumstances, all those things, all those people will trigger me into looking for the finest truth of my own soul and really come closer and closer to self realization and God realization within, not outside. Let's not mistaken this crap, okay? So basically, whatever I'm saying is gonna be fully understood by those who are in the vicinity of my consciousness. And it will never be understood by the ones who are disconnected from themselves, or they are, like if the gap is too big between my consciousness and their current level of consciousness. So it's gonna be it's just nobody's gonna listen to that, who, especially not all the way, because I'm saying things which they cannot agree with, which their soul cannot agree with. Why? Because they're not on my path. And if you really want to listen to the Confession of the Starseed, I think it's an older video. It said, it's not your task to judge my path, because it might not be for you. And I'm not going to go into the detail. Listen to it. If you're really interested, you're going to listen to it. And if you're not interested, don't listen to it. Then listen to somebody else, which is more congruent with your own level of consciousness. So this is why, like, I had friends who said, okay, I used to be going to, I don't know, some church or something. You know what? Like, I don't know, like 10 years ago or 5 or 6 years ago, I felt great in that group. But now when I went back, like always reaching back to the past and really responding to the echo of the past. And then so she was going back to the old thing because she was nostalgic, right? Okay, I felt the best last time when I was there. So she goes back with her current expanded self because she grew since then. But so she's going back to nostalgic stuff. I was doing that. Okay, I was reached back to the echo of the past. That's why I understand why she was doing it, because I was doing the same thing once or twice or third time or I don't know, fourth time or 10 times. It doesn't matter how many times you do, because you keep expanding. You understand more and more, as even if you go back or even if you are pulled back by nostalgic things, whatever, or nostalgia. So basically, she went back and she did not feel good there. And she said, when they say it seems like it's true. I can agree with that too. Then I can agree with the other. And then when I listen to you, I agree with you too, because it just sounds so true. And you know why? Because if you have been in many, many, many levels of consciousnesses, it is all true, but only on that level of consciousness. They each have their set of truths, but they became obsolete. So you have to know on what level you are and what timeline are you choosing in that sense, or staying on that timeline. You need to know your current, and you need to know your current currency, meaning stay in your current, and do not keep responding to the echo of the past. And so, but we all do that. We all do that. But we are not here to believe in other people's truth. We are here to discover our own. And this is all I'm saying. Discover your own truth. When you're gonna be in the vicinity of my consciousness, you will understand every word I'm saying. You're gonna not understand it, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel the vibration of it, and your soul just says, okay, give me more. give me more. I feel it is true. It is true for me. And it is, you see, so when you're there, you're going to understand and feel it, it's, hey, it is my truth too. This is exactly how I felt. This is what I always kind of knew. I felt it. I recognized it. I sensed it. And exactly. But, like in all the sea of truth, it says, it's bad English, but, in all of those levels of truth, you basically get confused until you really start saying, you know what, I need to stay true to me. And you can listen to that. Stay true to yourself. And so, whatever it is, whatever comes, and even when your joy comes, you say yes to your joy. Even when an uncomfortable feeling comes, you say yes to the uncomfortable feeling because there's a message in that. And in the previous video, I was talking about that. So, you just do this and really shift and select, between the trash. You have to know what is trash for you, which means it's an old truth, but now it became a lie to you. Because on your level, if you keep expanding and really keep going, and keep going means keep growing and coming closer to your natural self, a lot of those things that used to be true for you become obsolete. And that's what you need to know to be able to see it, that, okay, old truth, wrong channel. And, really keeps really swift and sword, swift and sword, swift and sword. So this is what you have to know to be able to continuously be able to clear your mind of all the shit that is spewed at you in every fucking minute of the day. I must stay conscious. And this is exactly what you're gonna um, understand. And I love the song from Katy Perry. I think it's like I Rise or Rise, Rise. I think that's the title of the song. And it's such a good song. And it's really just it gave me so much comfort when I was really listening to it, like I don't know, last year or before. It was like, oh, this is just exactly. I must stay conscious between all those crazinesses, because it's all crazy. There are so many disconnected humans with a lot of spiritual blind spots that just no, not my channel, not my channel, their channel, their channel, their business, and just really like going in the forest, and just you already took off the blindfold because now you can see better. Now you can understand yourself better. Now you can see the whole thing for what it is, and you're not trying to make it uh, to fit your needs or anything like that. You just want to see clearly. This was my biggest wish, for myself. I just want to see clearly. I want to gain clarity. How can I sustain my clarity? How can I really stay conscious in every now second and just really bring your consciousness in? Like I had really, life keeps happening, whatever is happening, but only to become more and more conscious, to be conscious in every now freaking minute without lacking or like you think that you can forget yourself. Not for one fucking second you can forget yourself. If you do that, you're gonna like, because the mind is conditioned, it's still, they have those little things until you really completely solidify your own higher self in really anchor it in your body. And you went through the integration embodiment period. Keep conscious until really really you are like, okay, this all-knowing being right here, and your frequency of omnipotence is completely solidified within yourself. So until we reach that point, in that sense, you have to be able to see through. And a lot of those things, that there are some debris that you're clearing even when you keep coming back up in the integration embodiment process, uh, you're gonna clear more and more of the debris. Okay, and you're gonna see clearer and clearer and clearer, and it's gonna become crystal clear. And this is what you're reaching for, crystal clear clarity, the three C's, crystal clear clarity. It's kind of like a diamond. And this is what you're really aiming for here. to be who you truly are without distortions and the freaking lies that you uncovered and discovered. And now you remember more of your own soul's truth and knowing, and you're gonna keep standing in it no matter what. And you know what? If somebody does not like that, you have to let them go. You have to really let them go. It's gonna cost you places, family members, things. Just move on, and don't allow the crabs to pull you back into the freaking bucket where you crawled out of. Okay, do not allow them to pull you back. Do not allow your mind's conditional patterns to call you back or recycle you back to the same crap. And in June now and yesterday and today, I felt that when an uncomfortable feeling showed up in me and I catched it right there, it was like just a split second. I think it did not even take like 1.5 seconds. And I felt the emotion. First, I felt the emotion. The emotion was kind of like a fear. And I asked, okay, I did catch it. And I said, stop. Because that's when you have to like halt, you know? You just say to yourself, stop. And just observe and say, okay, here is this emotion. What is this emotion? So you identify the emotion. You don't have to go into it. You don't have to. You just identify. You stop it on its track before it pulls you down, pulls you back. And you say, okay, my mind's, this was a conditional pattern which was related to fear. What am I fearing? What is this fear? What is the message of this fear? And then you know what I've recognized? I was fearing that somebody is not taking care of herself. I was fearing that I have to take care of herself and that I would have to sacrifice myself in order to save them. Old pattern, fucked up old pattern. It's the pattern. So since I'm, doing like retiring the bodhisattva, retiring compassion for others, and I have shifted back into self-compassion instead of feeling pity for them. So, like now, all these things are being retested because it's kind of like an echo from the past. So, a pattern, a thought pattern, or a belief system will show up, resurfaces, because now you have to dissect the sucker again and just say, okay, what else is there to understand? What is here? What is this message to me? Oh, okay, I've done that part where that when I was kind of started feeling and getting involved, and my in my dream it said don't get involved, right? And so when I was about to getting involved in their business, I felt that in my root chakra, which it's going on because in Hawaii the volcano eruption is really touching our root chakra, which is the overwhelmed empath becomes the integrated and embodied empath and no longer gives away her power to nobody, to no freaking shit. Because our mind is conditioned to feel sorry for victims, but there are no victims. There are only people who are in victimhood consciousness. But we all know already that there are no victims and there is no outside. The only thing I have to understand is me, my patterns, my feelings, my mind, how my mind works. What is the conditional mind? How it is showing up? What do I need to understand now in order to make a better choice? Meaning, in this moment, not to be dragged back or led astray with an old thought pattern, a conditioned, fucked up, distorted crap, but make another choice, not responding to the echo, dissecting the echo, knowing that it showed up for a purpose, me being staying on my path and not keep pulled back by the mind, by the conditional mind, which, as a child in other lifetimes, etc., because this is what we were all programmed with, did not understand our shit. We did not understand ourselves. We did not understand our fears. We did not understand our emotions. We did not understand that our mind was conditioned with the same crap, and we kept recycling lives after lives, the same bullshit, until we came into this incarnation where we said to ourselves, I'm gonna fucking self-liberate. I'm going all the way to complete self-realization, godhood, and the frequency of omnipotence. I am going to be true to myself. I am going to come this time for my natural self. I am not going to be recycled back to the same old bullshit, the victimization or savior victim pattern and program and template. But I am going to be here for me, because why I came this time is to wrap this whole thing up and be completely self-conscious, self-aware, keep expanding, saving myself, because this is the only thing that I am responsible for and nobody fucking else. And whatever they choose, you know, I know I could help them, I could save them if they would want to be saved. But actually, in this lifetime, this is not my job. This is not my job. And I'm telling you, if you are one of the 144,000, it is not your job either. And so maybe you agreed with that truth in another lifetime. Maybe you agreed with that truth when you were immersed in the illusion because you were born into a fucked up family. Your ancestral line was keep repeating the same bullshit. Many of us don't even give birth to any children anymore because we're breaking the cycle of the ancestral line. I don't have children. I never wanted one. I never really wanted to get married. But of course, in my little illusionary phase, because we all were dropped into the amnesia and we had to uncover and start remembering ourselves. And the funny thing was, I was always approached by men who always wanted to make me pregnant and marry me. And I never wanted to do that. And it's so funny because even when the last time I had this misconception and before I was really dissolving all the debris of that old programs initiated and before my Kundalini awakening. It's so funny. I was sitting in a coffee shop and I see this guy. I was thinking okay, do I have to be with this man? Do I not have to? So it was doubt. So when you're in doubt, stay out, okay? Because at that point I was like dropping again back. I was taking really steps back. My consciousness was dropping back because like I believe that he might have shown up for that. No, he did not show up for that. He showed up to clear the freaking table completely. We kill the fairy tale crap of looking for happiness in another. That's it. That is why we meet. Kill the final fucked up story of humans, because you are no longer only human. You are spirit, giant, magnificent. You're a god, you're a goddess. But you already know that, okay? You are one of the 144,000. This is what you know. And you know that you cannot be pulled back anymore. You don't allow. And basically, it's like overcoming all those old programs. Okay, so old template, wrong channel, wrong way. When you go on when you go on the other side, like planes, trains, and automobiles, when with Steve Martin and stuff, and they're going and it's like the wrong way. No, don't go the wrong way. You can take the detour, but it's just gonna delay what you're really looking for. It's like it's a great experience, and maybe it's gonna really make that stick. All of you knowing that maybe you knew that in the mental sphere, but still you were like going for you and against you, and at the same time it was this pull and push kind of feeling. And then all of a sudden you sit in a coffee shop and there's this girl coming with a t-shirt saying stay wild and free. And I thought, holy crap, I was just thinking about that. And so please pay attention to the signs, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to the signals that you're getting, pay attention to everything, the messages, the synchronicities. When really dragonflies show up more and more, or let's say a freaking butterfly is landing on your shoulder when you think a thought which is true for you and which is a soul essence messages. one of the soul essence message, and you just say, you just feel, oh my gosh, you have those sudden moments of insights, and then the butterfly lands on your shoulder in the park. Then you there again, you really again this like, oh my gosh, it's another like really like a light bulb in your head, and then the butterfly comes back and does it again, and then again, and then she comes back the third time, and you say, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you, because those are really confirmations. So you get all kinds of confirmations. Just start paying attention to your inner world, to everything that you come in contact with, but not in relation to another, you know, and be betrayed by your physical eyes and physical ears. Freaking listen within. Maybe because my name is Esther, and Esther means hidden, and Esther also means listen within. You see? So maybe this is why, I'm listening within. I'm not saying I was always listening within, because unfortunately, just like yourself, there were times when I was led astray by fucking physical sensations, what I've seen, what I heard. And those people are fucked up, disconnected. They're playing each of their sub personalities in 1 minute, the next the other. And it's like they're all fucking confused, all those blind, unaware people. And you're surrounded by them. You know, I mean, don't think that so many people, they are more and more in every country, but I mean, you have a, you know you're meeting more of those people who are not willing to learn. And then of course you meet also those who really have a great conversation with, and they understand you, you understand them, and you're kind of like in the vicinity of each other's frequency, and it's really great, and you really appreciate each other. They see you, you see them. It's like in the avatar, you really see them, you really can sense and feel that they understand me. They're closer in vibration, which is really, we can really, it's a give and take. We kind of really play with the beautiful energy when we are in a conversation. We are like so present, and it becomes this great stuff, like in the Celestial Prophecy. Watch the movie if you did not. And because it's about, they're explained pretty good, our little I don't know, energies, and how people are stealing our energies, or how we willingly give it away because we're not aware of ourselves. So we keep freaking self abusing ourselves, self torturing ourselves by doubts, especially. And it's really like they say, the biggest doubter will become the biggest believer. And basically, this is exactly what you have to believe in yourself. You have to self trust your intuition, like you trust no one like you trust your intuition, because this is the only thing you need to trust. When you sense, when you feel, when whatever it is, okay, and just keep yourself. And I few years ago I wrote about reality hackers, and yes, we are reality hackers. So really listen to self, and basically just stay in your own channel. That is why for many of you and many of us, are served by solitude, because solitude and being embedded in our own channel, in our own alpha state, in really, because that is like this heightened state of mind that we are in. And when you go out, it's like, you're out with the thing, and then you tend to forget who you are. So it's like you are in the embodiment process. So right now, out there is not serving you. You've got to be within. You've got to go inward, because the only way out of this whole matrix thing or illusion that is surrounding you left and right is really go inward, deeper, 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 deeper. And really, really clarifying for yourself all this. So, whatever the video that I'm making it for myself to remind me. And if you are this person with heightened consciousness and you go through the same things, you might find some confirmation for yourself, and maybe gonna be a great reminder of how you keep close contact with self and really being in the self partnership. and not, we, this is why we are like older souls. We don't crave connections to others. We crave connections to ourselves, basically, and we recognize that, we realize that, and I just want to be in me, like I had like there was this song I remember a few years back, and it was like, I am in you or something. And eventually I said, I don't want to be in you. I don't want to be tuned into your channel of fucking distorted thought patterns that you did not even recognize in yourself. I don't want to be in anybody. I want to be in myself. I want to partner with me. And that's what I want. I want me. I'm hungry for me. I am I am only hungry for myself. I'm not hungry for any other. Okay? So I just want to be with me. I mean, there is no greater existence than enjoying my own company, enjoying the company of my cat, enjoying nature, because we are nature, naturally neutral in our nature. And so basically, all this just, and the greatest thing when you were a codependent or recovering codependent, or you've been a narc because yourself, you were a narc because you were once disconnected from your own source. When people surround you, like many of them who are narcs, disconnected people, not aware, not fully connected to themselves, uh, then you just know you need to be in you, spend a lot of time with you. So that is why you as an older soul crave solitude more than anyone in this world. And they don't understand it, they cannot get it, you see. But the only thing is like, you no longer explain anything to them. Basically, you are the smarter one, you are the more conscious one. Okay, let's put it this way, you are the more aware one. Self-awareness, of course. You are aware of what's going on around you, but not that you get lost in it, but that you use it to stay close to your own self-awareness. And then you know exactly what you need to do. And it's, no words to teach, your father, your mother, your sister, whatever. You're just being you, and really standing strong in self, making your own space, demand on your space, which you create a space for you. Like, for example, when I did not want to listen to fucked up radio stations, I stayed away from them. I did not give them airtime, and I continued to make more and more space for myself. And I said, I can go to a park, I can stay in my place, in my room, in my whatever. I can, listen to things which make me stronger, more conscious. Just a reminder, I work a lot with light languages on myself, keep reminding me. And I have certain vibrations, frequencies which serve me and serve my, it makes it easier for me to stay tuned to myself, into myself. So we are just being in our own vibration, which solidifies it, and makes this frequency stronger and stronger. And so you can emit that, and you can really just calm your mind, calm everything, and just be in this peace, because I am peace. And I'm self love, and I'm self compassionate, and I use the self compassion to be my golden compass. And I cannot repeat it enough times, because this is very important, especially for you if you came for the same reason as I did, because eventually every soul will come for that reason, but not every soul will come for that to complete it in this lifetime. But if you came for that and you understand and you feel it, because this is, yeah, your inner knowing that you came for this, then you're going to go through the same thing. I'm not saying that your experiences will be the same, no, because each one of us, but different roles, different people, whatever, a little bit here, similar, but not the whole thing is the same thing. You are the only one. Please stay close to self. Please give yourself time. Radical self-care, radical, own space. And especially if you have immature parents or immature sisters, emotionally immature people that you are surrounded with, or I don't know, people that you work with, or I don't know, You need to know what you need to shift within you to stay close to self and really just do whatever you want to do. And then they're just going to adjust. It's like Louis Hay basically, but you still have to go through it because just because we all probably read the book or part of it or whatever. I didn't read the whole book or whatever, but I heard certain things from her before. And you see, but until you really go through it, you will not know it. You have to become that, which others, are still going through and reading other people's book. And I have this other video where I said that eventually you're not going to read anybody's book, but you're going to read your own and write your own for yourself, basically for your own joy. It's not about that you feel obligated to do anything. There is no obligation whatsoever. And that is another lie. There is no obligation. I am not doing this because I think I have this, I have to do this. No, I don't have to do fucking shit. I don't have to put up not one video if I don't want to. I don't have to do any of this. If I don't do anything for anyone in this lifetime anymore, I've done enough in many lifetimes. And this lifetime is all about me. This lifetime is all about enjoying me, my consciousness, my natural self. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. Yes, I love to hear my own voice because it reminds me of who I am. Yes, I do. And you bet I do. And the only thing is here to stay close to self. Be you. Be you, be you, be you, be you. Don't worry about anything and anybody else. They're not gonna die because the empath downfall is that you think that people will kill each other or they're going to hurt themselves or whatever or they're going to die because they cannot handle it. Yes, it's a pretty intense thing, but basically if you are calm, and when you are calm for being yourself and being and not to choose guilt, so you choose being guilt free of being you, nothing's going to happen to them. The world will adjust around you, and just don't allow anyone to pull you back to the old pattern. Don't allow yourself to be pulled back by your conditional mind. And this is what you have to see, because it just it's going to keep coming back until you really solidify being true to yourself fully and completely, as a being, as existing in your whole body, and your whole body only aligns with self, with your natural self in every now moment, and you will not give a shit about anybody's else's concept or anybody's ideas of who they want you to be. You will not serve their needs, no matter how much they could fucking stand on their head or throw a tantrum. You will not fucking move. You're gonna become this sturdy rock in yourself knowing. And you will never, ever sacrifice yourself for another person's need. Never. Unless it's your own joy to give it or it gives you joy, whatever. But you're never, ever going to do it out of obligation and responsibility or all the fucked up bullshit that people believe in, you know? So, and you're not gonna do all that. So parents. Somebody asked me if they should go home and give up their life to take care of their parents. Whatever you believe, whatever you think, me personally, no, I would not go back. That is me. I would not go back. Let them have their experiences. I've tried with my own mother. I told her very calmly, no emotions, complete neutrality. If you're not willing to help yourself, do some things for yourself, for your own health, for your own well being. If you're not willing to change, suffering card is very much in that. But if you don't want to, if you want to really be attached to the belief system, which might not be serving you, I mean, I cannot help you. You need to be able to serve yourself, to save yourself, whatever, in all kinds of ways, whatever. I have tools. I could give it to you to help yourself. But probably all of those tools are not appreciated because she could get it for free. So eventually, this is why you only assist those who are willing to help themselves. They can help themselves without even your assistance. But if they don't know how, you might be the one who can provide that push over the bump. If they don't want that, you have to let them go. You have to let them go. So don't join their victim card. Don't join in the feeling of pity because that is draining your life force. It's draining you backward with to the conditional pattern shit. It's like a timeline that you're joining. Don't join that. Um, if you want to stay true to yourself, if you want to test or you want to retest yourself, or you keep playing the old fucking record, I'll keep playing the old record. I've played it many times before I said, okay, that is it. You know, the funny thing, uh, I even told my mother, you know, you can choose and you can reach for the poison, although I know how you could save yourself. But if you want to reach for the poison, be my guest, you know? I mean, and what you need to know is I recognized, of course, a long time ago, that just because she is my mother in this lifetime doesn't mean anything. She is a mother in this lifetime. She is teaching me, she is training me to be true to myself. This is how I see her. And that is her role in this lifetime. She plays this role for me to be able to stay close to myself. She is actually my teacher. And I know and I recognized what they are all teaching me, to choose me, to stay close to me, to be me, only me, not trying to save anyone, not trying to whatever. And if they don't want to, it's like the same thing, you know, when in the story, it did not hurt enough. There is this dog, there is this traveler going on a trip, and then he goes into this tavern, and, you know, he says to the owner, I'm going to stay a few days. So during the week, you know, while he's there, like first day he goes out, sits on the porch. A second day also sits on the porch in the afternoon, having a tea or whatever. Then the third day he sits on the porch again. And every day he sees that there is this dog, you know, the tavern's dog. And this dog, you know, runs walking around, whatever, you know, kind of relaxed, whatever. But every afternoon, that dog keeps going into a corner, one of the corners in the yard, and then sits in a needle, you know, and and then, you know, he's watching the dog, and the dog is whining and you know, making all this suffering noise and whatever, and then he just sits there. He stands up, then he sits back into the nail again, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? So anyway, he sees this like 3 days in a row, and eventually he just goes to the owner and says, you know, what is wrong with this dog? You know, he keeps sitting in that nail, and but he gets up and then he goes back and sits back into the nail. And the owner says, I know, but you know, he's it does not hurt enough, I guess. So he keeps doing that until it hurts so much that he's never gonna go back to the sit in the nail again. So we just respect her free wishes and free will, and just allow him to do whatever he needs to do. And if that's what makes him happy to sit back in the nail, and when it's gonna hurt enough, he's gonna stop doing that. And so this is how people are. We are conditioned to keep going back to the same shit, but there is a reason for it, to have more and more insights, because eventually you're going to stop doing that to yourself. So eventually you're going to stop thinking fucked up thoughts too, because then you say, I'm not going to self better myself, or do all this you know, condemnation and self betrayal and all that shit, because it's only giving me pain. And so, why to sit back into the pain and be pulled back into the pain when I want to be free of the pain? And I only needed to understand where it was coming from and what conditioning I was going through and why and how I can resolve it. And I can choose any time not to do that anymore. And so don't sit back in the nail, you know? But, it takes a lot of inner work, and don't expect them to do it for you. You are smarter, you are more brilliant, you are more conscious than your parents are. Most of the time, this is the case, I'm telling you. And so basically, you just recognize this and don't expect them to understand you or anything. Eventually, you're not going to even try it anymore because you see they really want to destroy themselves to no end. And one day I remember when um, our neighbor was talking and they were talking and my mom was talking when I was there. And eventually they were talking about a plant. And they said, well, it's gonna grow if he wants to live or if it wants to live. And I was laughing so much because they kept repeating this sentence. Each one of them said that for whatever they were talking about the plant. But you see, of course, it had a different meaning for me. And it says, okay, it's gonna grow if the plant wants to survive. That's it. So it's the same with my mom, or it's the same with anybody in that matter. And it was the same for me, if you want to stay alive and if you want to then you're gonna grow, you're just gonna keep growing. And if you don't want to stay alive, you're gonna die. That's it. You're not gonna grow new leaves or things or anything, and then you just, that's it, you keep going back and you keep fucking yourself up with the same shit, and you're gonna cause your own demise. It's free will, kids. We are in free will zone. And you're here to learn. You're here to expand. You're here to remember, your greatest spirit and really discover the giant within yourself and not living based on these old concepts and programs. So parents don't know that. Parents don't know that. Just because they are 80 years old or 70 or whatever, how many years old they are, that is just a chronological age. And it does not mean wisdom. So please, all this bullshit about all elder people are wiser, not true. It has nothing got to do with wisdom. Many of them are immature. And if they are on the path of self destruction, which means if they having diseases or like deteriorating body, they are not wise. They want to self-destruct, please be my guest, be my guest. So this is why it does not work anymore that younger people will take care of their parents. No. Why? Because we don't follow the old program. That's it. And I told her, even, I'm not going to sacrifice myself for you. So I'm just warning you, telling you the things that if you're not willing to learn because you told me you don't want to, then suffering is inevitable. You have to decide. You have to help yourself. If you are not willing to help yourself, but you keep telling me all kinds of excuses, sorry, we don't do that anymore. Okay, do your own thing. And don't be surprised what the consequences are of not unwillingness to learn and expand. And you see, they give you actually, they release you from your responsibilities, which is no responsibility at all, because that was the old program. I'm not responsible for them. They, whatever they do, it's their own doing against themselves. I was doing things before against my own self. I know how that is. And that is why I understand. I understand. But I also allow them to destroy themselves. And this is probably, I think, maybe it's even harder for you to see that when, because you love people, you that is your nature, that you love them. You would love to help them. But eventually you help them the most when you don't help them at all. And this is the recovering empath. This is the empowered empath. And coming from all that emotional entanglement that we had in the older days, or in the other days, or in previous years, and we did not know why we suffered, even when other people suffered, because we had so much compassion for other people that we forgot to give the self compassion that we needed in order to be free of those emotional entanglements with family members or lovers or partners or friends or whomever. And so our job is to be here for ourselves. And you're done, you're retired. And the younger generation, the younger souls are there to do other stuff, okay? And not you. You came back for you because you've been doing this for eons in all kinds of different places and civilizations and or on earth or whatever. And earth just reminded you of your old days on earth, your old programs, old patterns, which you are releasing now. So you have to stand in your own power. If you're not standing in your own power, you're not serving the whole. You're serving the whole by standing in your own power, in your own inner empowerment. That is what serves the whole. That is the example. You are the example, and you have to embody that exampleness, right? So it's just an amazing journey. And I'm so glad that I'm here where I am and what I'm re- really rediscovered, that remembered. And I'm so glad that I had gone through the walking experiences and that I had gone through all this, that I had gone through the Kundalini activation, that, and every time, funny thing, I still feel it in my root chakra and actually in my uterus, where there's the history of our spiritual whole journey that we ever did. Uh, and that's when it started really being this yin and yang energy, and really hot and cold. And I started feeling that, and it was really terrible feeling. But it had been activated. And now when I try to go backwards, I feel it right away in my uterus. And it says, wrong way, wrong way, wrong way, warning, warning, warning. And I start feeling it. So I cannot um, disregard it anymore because it just makes my body senses that I'm either in a wrong thought pattern, that I have to pay attention to myself, that I'm harboring some distortion, some belief, something that I started turning into or responding to an echo of the past, and then self correct, self correct, self correct. So it's warning me, warning, 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 self correct, self correct, self correct. So it does not allow me not to pay attention to myself because immediately I feel it in my body. And I don't know where you feel it or how you feel it. Maybe you feel it in your third chakra, maybe you have other sensations. You have to pay attention to your own body. This is how you are going to be able to self correct, self correct, self correct. So we're not correcting the outside, we're self correcting the inside. We stay in our own self, present in our body. That is like when you say, I am presence, I am present in my presence, and I am the present. And so I'm the gift. And I'm the gift to the universe. I am the gift to myself, mainly and foremost. And my whole beingness is solidifying, rising, expanding, growing. And I only have to take my constant awareness with me anywhere I go. Whatever happens out there, it's just really, really wrapping it up and just say, I need to stay in me. I need to be present in my body. Because all this emotional, mental, body connection, and this is what you realize, and this is what you see, and this is what you feel, and this is what you sense. And this is how you're using your own empathic abilities for the benefit of yourself. And through that, everybody gets anyway this whole world needs. And all this is energetically done. So even if you never share your own experiences, even if you never allow people to know what you went through. And even if you never ever do anything for another human, you are worthy and you are enough. And but balance also means we allow ourselves to live our joy and whatever it is. And there is nothing else. We don't care what's going to happen with that. We don't care what the outcome. We don't care who's whatever. I don't know. I just feel good to share this, that whatever. And maybe because I can explain it like no other, maybe that is my gift, because this is what I have. Like I can look at it from this side, from that side, from this angle, from that angle, from here. I can look at it from above and I can look at it from below. And I can see all of it at once. That is my gift. And I just presented to you a few angles. I just represented a few angles. But you know how many angles there is that I might not have been able to tell you, because I would have to tell you maybe 100 angles to really get the whole picture. So there are so many angles, myriad, myriad and millions, and so many, how you can look at a situation and how you can look at yourself and all that, what you're learning, what she's learning, what is her message should be, actually should understand. But if she does not want to, you do not tell them what they need to. That is none of your business. And in the past, and maybe you have done that in the past, that you try to explain their side of the story. Don't do that. No, they don't understand it. Maybe you say it once, maybe you said it twice, but eventually you're going to stop saying it to those individuals that don't have the desire to understand themselves, because whatever they know, that's what they need to know at this time, because they're going to go and destroy themselves no matter what you do. And you're only going to waste your own energy, and you're only going to waste your own time and stuff. And you should focus on self and be in self and make your your own reality, and don't worry about other people, not even if they are your parents, not even if they are your sisters or children or whatever. But when you're a mother, I know there is no point telling you that, because you do whatever you have to do, right? And but there are those parents who recognize that just because they gave birth to a child and they're grown up, they have to allow them to experience their own life and not be involved in their children's life all the fucking time whatsoever. If they come to you, if they ask for your advice, you might say things, but if you're a conscious parent, of course, you're going to say completely different things to your child or children than the one that is unconscious. And so it all depends on the level of spiritual wisdom that each and every one of those humans hold in their current existence. And so it does not mean that just because somebody is older than you, they know more or they are wiser. Not necessarily, okay? And the other way around it, that it's not another thing. It's all really individual, and you need to use your own gift for the benefit of self. That is it. That is it. Because when you work with the one, you work with the whole energetically. And this is the whole point. And most of this that I said, I was telling to myself. If you enjoyed it, that's good. Then you might discover some gifts in it, or you resonate with it. If not, it's good too. Doesn't matter. Because what really matters is that it reminds me constantly. And if I want to, I just look back and I'm just going to listen to myself, because I can see, I can feel, I can sense. And these are like summaries, more and more, clearer and clearer summaries for me, just as much as for some other people might be. So thank you for listening. If you tuned in, if you have question, please submit it in the comment section. I'm very happy to really sharpen more of my consciousness by going through those things, to really entertain certain things and really shed some light to understand it even more and really dissect it. That's my gift. This is what I know. And so it feels good to revel in my own creativity and my own understanding of my mind, my feelings. And since I have opened the book of life for me, like in Egypt, right? The book of death and the book of life. And so it gives me great pleasure to be in this. And since this is my channel, I can do whatever I want on my channel. And it just feels great to live in my joy. So thank you and have fun. Bye. Have a nice weekend.